another sheet in that one, and let's title it. Okay. Now the formula that Pinky gave, let me search for it.
Day of
Yeah.
equal to day of EO month.
End of month.
Month full.
Oh,
EOM.
okay. Yeah, okay.
And the column, comma, 0, right?
Really?
B4 is not in brackets.
One more bracket at the end.
No,
They should be in.
no, that's not there. Equals.
No, because there
Hang
are
on.
two open brackets, no? So you need to.
Oh, no, the zeros after this. Right.
B4 should not be in bracket.
No, it should. It's fine.
Oh, there are 2 zeros, huh? Okay.
No, there's only 1 0.
Only one.
Okay, now this is the formula. Okay, now whatever date you put in here, let's say today's date is 13th. Okay.
So how did it take 31 now? From where it took 31?
No, that is from 0. Don't worry about that. Okay. 13 for 21. Okay. 30 days.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the
And if it-
formula, Moinchan, again?
2 to 21. 28 days. Okay. If you do go to 2 to 20. Oh, sorry. 2
Hyphen.
to 20. 29 days. So it basically it works. Okay. I don't know why you did not get it. Okay. This is the formula.
Oh, yeah, I didn't try it with the new formula.
No,
I
this
did
is
it
the
with
only formula that Pinky gave you. So how do you mean?
No. Before I put my query on the group, I was working on a file. And I just did the EO month. I didn't do the day part.
Yeah. End of month is a separate function altogether. Okay.
Yeah.
If you do end of month of this one, okay, and if you say 0, oh, wait, sorry, not 0. Okay, and you format it for the date. You get 29th of, okay, end of month for this one is 29th, okay.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
the good thing is if you put -1, then it becomes January, okay. All right. Let's say you format it to, you remember the custom, and you just say MMM or MMM hyphen YY, okay. You get Jan 20, okay. And if you put -2, you get December 19. And if you put +2, okay, you get February plus March, April, okay.
Okay.
That's what this now
Okay,
this
okay.
number at the end is, okay.
Okay.
0 means current month on this
Okay.
date, -1 means 1 month before, end of month always. The actual value here is the end of month, okay. I've just
Okay.
changed the format to just give me the month, okay.
Yeah, I got that.
If you just go back to the old format of date, it'll give you the end of month in all these cases, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just changed the format. The value is still the same, okay.
Okay.
Right, so this works basically. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no reason why it should not work. And the only thing additional
No. I haven't used this before. So when I just tried it on a hunch with the experience of all the Excel classes I'm attending, I just searched for a function and I got this EO months. I thought I'll give it a shot. So when I got the first few numbers, I got 41,000 and all that I went blank.
No, but that means you did not use the formula that Pinky gave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we can leave that now for the time being. Who else is joined? No one else. Okay, good. Okay, I've given the link here for her video. It's very detailed and it will be much better than what I can tell you, but don't watch it yet. Wait till I finish and then maybe tomorrow we can watch it.
Yeah.
I think the 41,000 she's referring to is the way that Excel
Yeah, it
stores
may be
those
just
dates.
the format, exactly.
Yeah, it's just the
So if
format.
I were to format it as a number,
Yeah,
it will give that number, you see.
What is that number?
The
that is how
Excel
Excel stores
stores
date.
the date inside its own database as a number.
Oh, okay.
We
Oh,
have to format it each time the way we want it.
yeah,
Excel
okay.
knows it only as a number, and I believe 1st of January 1901 is
Yes.
number 1, okay?
Oh, okay.
And 2nd of January is number 2. So right now we are in the 43,000s, okay? They have chosen to use that for whatever reason they felt it was appropriate, okay?
Okay.
Once I put your cursor on now under number of days, no, on 29. Oh, so you say day, and that is how you got that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This is just the end of month alone. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this day part was something new to me. I know end of month, I had not used day for any particular reason before. It gives you the number of days in the month, okay? In the month. And you can even shift it to number of days in the next month or the month before, as the case may be, depending on what value you put instead of the 0. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
No, the day is not giving you the number of days in the month. It is giving you the date of the last day. Basically, end of month gives you the last date.
Yeah,
And
but from the beginning of the month. So effectively, it's the number of days in the month, right? I mean,
that is because of the way she has used that formula. She has nested those two formulas. So it is picking up the date 29 from that end of month date.
yeah, but let's just say we have a formula, because I don't know, as I said, I have not used it before.
If you put any
Okay,
date,
let's say this, okay?
uh,
Okay, right now 0. So what are you saying now? If I put any
you put a
date
date,
here,
yeah,
what
any date
date?
you put,
Let's say 13th of April 21,
yeah, that should give you 13. See,
13 days.
yeah, so it's giving
Yeah,
you,
that is the days up to 13th is 13.
yeah,
In
Yeah.
that month,
Number of
right?
days from the beginning of the month.
Yeah, beginning
no,
of
that is
that
picking
month.
out the
Okay.
specific date of that whatever you have entered.
Yeah, what this does is, instead of this, it substitutes the value of the end of the month.
Yeah.
And then says, okay, how many days to that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Effectively, that's what's happening. Okay.
And can you bring your cursor to 13? It just says day and the set.
Yeah, the number of days that 13th is from the beginning of the month. I mean, because it's in sequence, it's not it's a no-brainer, right? I mean, you don't need a formula for that. But anyway.
In case you need to.
Yeah, because there's no additional criteria that you can provide. It's just this one. So 13 is 13. So what's the big deal? You know, it can be useful only in situations like this. Otherwise, it's pretty obvious that 13 is 13. Okay. So anyway, still no one. Okay, I think we better go ahead. What time is it now? It's almost 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to look at is the if function, and if is basically, there are two particular routines that programming uses. One of them is if then else, what we call if then else. Okay, if something is true, then you do something. If not, meaning else, you do something else. Okay, that's the format for a particular sequence of procedures within programming. Okay, if then else, it's called. Well, there's another sequence called while something is true, you do something. While whatever, do something. While that is not true, when that is not true, you stop doing it. So that is for a loop. If you want to do continuous a sequence of procedures while that particular condition is true, then you do that. It goes back to the beginning. When you finish the process, it goes back to the beginning, and then it comes down. Then at the end of the process, it checks, is it still true while whatever value. Let's say you say while Mohan is equal to 67. That's what I'll be in a week's time. Okay. While Mohan is 67, do these things. Okay. And then at the end of the process, what you do is you normally add 1 to that value. Mohan is now 67 plus 1. Okay. So now Mohan becomes 68, and then you want to continue doing it till Mohan is 103, which is where his dad passed on. Okay, so after 103, the process will stop. Okay? I'm sorry, I don't know if that that made any sense to any of you all, but so there are these two processes: if then else, or while and end while, or while when. Some of the programs will use, programming languages will use while when. Okay, I don't know if Excel has that particular process, but it definitely has if then else. Okay, so what we are going to look at today is the if condition, and the if condition always is if a particular value is true, or if a particular condition is true, then you do these set of procedures. If it's not true, then you do another set of procedures. That is the format for if. If you just go here and do if, okay, you'll immediately see, okay, what is the condition we're testing for? And if it's true, what do you do? If it's not true, what do you do? Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah.
And now we'll look at these. Okay. What it says is if the revenue is, okay, now we have a small sheet here, which you remember these apps are from the app that the file that we used last week. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're saying, okay, each of these apps made so much revenue. Okay. This is the data we have, correct?
Yeah.
Now we want to know if the revenue is greater than 15,000, then I want to say good here. Okay. Now we have a few, this is above 15, this is above 15. There are about 5 or 6 above 15, right?
Yeah.
So the condition is very simple. Equals if, you already saw that, if logical test, okay, if the logical test is if this particular column is greater than, greater than 15,000, okay, it's not a text, it's a number, okay, then what should you say? You should say good, okay. So quotations, GOOD. If not, we don't want to say anything. So we just put the null value, which is 2 quotation marks close to each other, okay. Now that's the formula. So here what happened? It's not given an error or anything. That means this is less than 15,000. So if I copy it down, okay,
Yeah.
you can either drag it down or just click on the plus sign. It will automatically go to the last record. Okay, so this is above 15, this is above 15, this is above 15, this is above 15. All of them are above 15. Okay. Now what if we wanted to say bad for those below 15? Instead of the null, we just say bad. That's all. Okay. Are you following? Yeah. So if it's 15,000, you do this. If it's not 15,000, you do this, which is insert this value in the column. Okay. Okay. Now I've made it only for one column. Now you see all the columns are filled up. Everything that's below 15,000 is bad, and everything that's above 15,000 is good. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we want to go to a slightly more complicated. Let me have my tea. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have taken the class today.
You're doing good.
Anju doesn't know the story, so never mind. Okay.
What happened?
Never mind, Anju.
What am I missing?
Well, I was in the company of a friend of mine in my drawing room watching cricket, and I kept him company. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's just copy this for the time being into the next column. Okay. I'm going to copy it, which means it'll get the same result. Okay, paste. Okay, it will still give that. But then we want to put an additional condition. Okay. Now, the good thing about if, and in fact, most of the functions in Excel is you can have nested conditions. Nested means one within the other. Okay. And so instead of bad, okay, if it's above 15,000, I want to say good. No, I want to say good only if it's above 15,000 and less than 20,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So then what we have to do is use the condition and, okay, and say be greater than 15,000, and then put the second condition, which is this, less than 20,000. Okay. Close it. Okay, then of course I don't say good because I should say good, comma, good. Okay. I won't say bad here because if it's more than 20,000, it shouldn't say bad, right? So if I put bad here, what's going to happen now is if
I think you missed
if
the zero.
sorry, yeah,
Zero.
thank you. Blah. Okay, there you go. Yeah, because if it's between 15,000 and 20,000, it's good. I can't say bad if it's not between 15 and 20 because there's a case here which is about 20,000 and that can't be bad, right? So I'll just leave it blank for the time being. Okay, so I will just put it blank, right? And hopefully, okay. So now there's nothing said about it. There's no question of bad. Okay, and I click down. Okay, so only those between 15 and 20. That's why you'll find 2400 is also blank because the condition now is between 15,000 and 20,000. Then you say good. Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just leave it blank. That's what I said. This is called a null value. Okay. If you put two quotations close to each other without even a space, okay, then it's called a null value. Okay. So you looked at basic if condition, then you looked at if condition with an with a or, right? And sorry. Okay. Now we come to the third type of if condition. No one else has joined yet. Okay, good. Okay, but this condition is if it's greater than 15,000 and less than 20,000, then we say good. But if it's greater than 20,000, then we say exceptional. The rest, we want to put the actual value of that cell. Okay, are you all following?
Yeah.
So it's either good, exceptional, or the amount. Okay.
Yeah.
And the amount will always be less than 15,000. Okay. Because everything else is covered in the if condition. Between 15 and 20 is good. Above 20 is exceptional. So what's left is only below 15,000. Okay. All right. I don't think remember how to do this. Okay. Let's see. Revenue exceptional, rest is value. Okay. Okay, let me just copy this formula for the time being. Okay. Okay, now then good. That part is okay. The first part is okay. If it's between 15 and 20, it's good. Okay, that's still good. Okay. Then instead of this, I have to say I have to introduce another if, which is the second portion of this if. Okay, so if it's not between 15,000 and 20,000, then again I want to introduce another if the same figure is greater than 20,000. Okay, then what do I do? What should I say? Exceptional. Okay,
Exceptional.
I say exceptional. Okay, and then I have to put the value. What if it's not greater than 20,000? That means we've already covered 15 to above 20,000 in these things. Okay, so what's left is only below 15,000. Okay, we want to put the value. Okay, which is this column. Okay, now we opened 1, 2, closed 1, 2. Okay, we have to put one more close quotation. Okay. So now this is less than 15,000. So it's given you the value. So hopefully the rest of it should work. Okay, let me just format it. That's terrible. Okay. All right. So what you see is if it's between 15 and 20, it says good, which is correct. Okay. This is also between 15 and 20. This is about 20,000. This is about 20,000, says exceptional. Those that are below 15,000, it actually gives you the value. You could have put anything else. You could have said terrible. Okay. Terrible. Sack the guy. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. One more quotation. Okay. Oh, I got to copy this all across because I did it. Okay. Lots of guys are going to get sacked now. Okay. You know what I mean? So you can either put the value or anything else, or even some cell reference somewhere else. Okay. If that is the condition. All good so far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I forget what this was, to be honest. Okay. Uh-huh. If it's okay. Basically, what we want to say is we want to give it a kind of oh, hang on. Let me just see, because I hid a sheet so that you guys wouldn't see it. What does she say? Oh, it just says flag. Okay, never mind. Okay. You can unhide the sheet, by the way, by going and clicking anywhere on the sheet tabs on the right hand side. And if there's any hidden sheet, you will have this option not
Okay.
grayed out, and you can
Yeah.
click it. So I hit the sheet because she's got all the answers there. Okay. But we worked on our own pretty good till now. So all she wants to do is she, meaning because the lady, it's a lady, Sheila Garani. Okay. Just wants to say flag if it's between these. If it's about 20,000 or less than 15,000, she wants to say flag. Okay. So what she can do is we start with if. Okay. If this is the figure that we want to do a validation on. Okay. If it's greater than or equal to, you can say this condition. Okay. 20,000. Okay. Sorry, we got to use the condition or. I forgot. Okay. Or because that's why this column was there to explain or. This was for and. Okay. Sorry, this was for and this is now for or. So we want either of these to be true, not both. Okay. In this case, it was both. Okay. It has to be greater than 15,000 and less than 20,000. That's when we said it was good. Here, if it's either greater than 20,000 or less than 15,000 or equal to, then just say flag or whatever else you want to say. Okay. So, or B5 greater than 20,000, comma, the or function, you can put as many logicals as you want. We are putting only two here because there are only two conditions. Okay. Again, B5 less than or equal to 15,000. Probably I should have put that first, but anyway. Then we want to say flag. Okay. Else we want to say nothing. Okay. All good?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just get to the right so I can. So if it's less than 15,000, it will be flagged. And if it's greater than 20,000, it will be flagged. So you can check. This is less than 15,000, it's flagged. 7,000 flagged. 15, between 15 and 20, nothing, 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 nothing. Again, sorry. Okay, this is less than,
There's a 17 there.
15. No, 17 is not flagged. Okay. 14 is flagged, 11 is flagged, 30 is flagged, 20 is 2,400 is flagged.
Okay, less than 15, greater than 20.
Yeah. So basically we've covered the basic if function, the if function with an and, okay. The if function with a nested if function, that means another if function in it. There is, I think you can go up to 8 or 10 different nested if functions, maybe more, I'm not sure, okay. I've never had to go more than 7 or 8. And this is the or included with the if function. Is that clear? I mean, now how would you use it in your workplace? You have to figure out, and you can discuss it with me later and I can help you, not a problem, okay? A lot of conditional validation is useful to make sure your data has integrity. And what the function does is basically to validate it. We already did drop-down validation, right? Validation rules where you allow the user only to input a certain within a certain type of data. Okay. Here, what we're saying is after the input, we are doing some kind of checking. Okay. So this is a different kind of validation, but it's still effectively a validation. Also, if you want to process something based on those that are good, I want to do something else. You would then have other columns to process these. Okay. If it's not good, then you just leave them alone, whatever. Maybe you want to calculate the incentives for these guys or whatever, you know. So you would only give incentives to those that were good. Okay, not the guys you're going to sack. Why would you give incentive for the guys you're going to sack, right? Doesn't make sense. Okay, that's the if function. Now we're going to look at slightly more complicated if function. We want to highlight I need to go back to her sheet, okay? If it is plus or minus 10%, so we've got one additional column here. We've got the revenue and we have the budgeted revenue for that particular app. Okay, these are all apps, you remember? Yeah. And presumably this is a month or a year or whatever, both for the same period. So if it's less than or greater than 10%, we want to highlight it, okay? Or maybe put the actual value, what it is, okay? I think she puts the actual value. Yeah, that's right. She puts the actual value. So let's try that. Give me a second while I sip some tea. Okay, how do you find out if it's greater or less than 10%? That is, the actual value is greater than or less than the budgeted value, okay? The simple way is you divide the actual value by the budgeted value, you get a decimal value, right?
Into
Oh, it's already percent. Sorry, she's already put percent, okay?
Oh,
I mean, these columns are already formatted for percentage, that's why. Okay, so now what I want is to reduce this from 1, okay? 11, actually, okay. This minus 1, okay, will give me 9.97. And it's a positive figure because the actual revenue is bigger than the budgeted revenue, and it's bigger than the budgeted revenue by 9.97%. Anyone has a confusion about that?
no.
This is normal math, okay? This is not Excel even, okay? You divide the actual revenue by the budgeted revenue, you will get how many times over the budgeted revenue the actual revenue is, okay? If you divide 4 by 2, you get 2, which means 4 is 2 times 2, correct?
Yeah.
Or if you divide 6 by 2, you get 3. So effectively, we are dividing the actual revenue by budget revenue, get how many times the budget revenue is the actual revenue, okay? Then we are converting it to a percentage. So it is actually only the increase we are looking at. That's why we reduced the 1 from it, okay? If you left it without the 1, basically it will say it is 109% over the budgeted revenue, okay? But we want to know only the incremental percentage, so we minus 1, which is 1 is always 100%, by the way, okay? It's understood by the system. 100% means 100 over a cent, which is 100, okay? That's 1.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we say 100%. Cent is 100. In Greek or Latin or whatever, it doesn't matter, okay? All right, so we've got this now. So we click the formula down. What did I do? I just found out the increase or decrease. Now you got some plus, some minus, okay? Now what do we want to do? We want to highlight only the ones that are about 10% or less than 10%, okay?
Yeah.
So that's where the if comes in. If, okay, and I would prefer to put a bracket here, okay? Yeah, the way this works is, if you all have done math, you know the BODMAS principle. BODMAS is brackets of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction, okay? This is the sequence in which math apps will work. The first thing it will apply itself is to brackets, okay? Then off, which is multiplication again. Off is actually multiplication. D is division. M is multiplication, addition, and subtraction. This is the order of processing of a formula, okay? And even if you do your normal algebra or math, you have to follow this order. You have to finish the brackets first, then you do the off, if there's an off, then you do division, then multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So here, the brackets will be processed first, okay? I like to put a bracket after this because otherwise it looks like C23 minus 1. It's not C23 minus 1, it is this value minus 1, okay? So if that value is greater than, sorry, is greater than, I can, 10% is basically 0.1, okay? I would say 0.1, she's done something different, okay? Then I want to put this value, okay? Basically, I want to put B23 divided by C23 close bracket minus 1. Okay. Let's say we just do the pluses for the time being and close the bracket. Okay. Oh, great. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Yeah, okay, because it's less than if sorry, not 0. I want to put space there. Sorry.
You have to take out the 0.
Yeah, following you. Okay, yeah. Okay, so if I copy the formula down, so only the values above 10% are now shown. Okay, but we have to above 10% or less than 10%. Okay, so remember what we did here, the OR function. Yeah, we have to apply that here. So then we go to if or okay. So this is one value if it's greater than 1. And then the second value is not this, yeah, is
This one less than 0.2.
is less than 0.1. Okay. Then close the bracket for the OR. Okay. Then we want to put the value, which is B23 divided by C23 minus 1. And as I said, I like to put it in brackets always. Okay. Otherwise, we put a null value. Okay. I think we're there. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll find out soon enough. Okay, there you go. All right. Oh, sorry, I have to open another bracket after all. Have to be careful of the brackets. Okay. This is inside. This is outside. Yeah. Okay. Good. This should be fine. Yeah. Okay. So now the minus is above. Wait. This is not 10%. So how did it happen? Let me just copy it down anyway. So there was a forward that I sent out to people today. Okay, and I got to show you guys that. I think Salita might have already received it. They say we learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm making as many as possible. I'll soon be a genius. So at this rate, I'm going to be a genius tonight. Okay. Okay. Oh, gosh, terrible. Okay, I'm not sure. Let me just copy it down and see what happens. Okay, it's all being listed out. Okay. If or, okay, this part is fine. Or this is greater than 1. Or B20 by minus 1 is less than, oh, sorry, less than minus 1 it should be. Sorry. Okay. Are you following that? It should be less than minus 1. Okay, means it should be less than 10, minus 10%. Hopefully it will work now. All right, there you go. Okay, so now it should have picked up only the ones that are either below minus 10% or above plus 10%. Okay. All right.
Panchayat,
Yeah.
Why
please,
is it not?
please copy that formula and put it in the WhatsApp group, no?
No, it's there in her if final. Okay, if you look at it.
Oh, it is there, is it? Okay.
It's there. Okay. In fact,
Okay,
it seems
yeah.
to have got it seems to be smaller than my formula. Okay, she's actually put 10% instead of 0.1. Okay. So basically, she's done the same thing. If it's greater than 10% or if it's less than 10%, then give the value. Otherwise, don't put any value, which is what I've said, right? Yeah, basically what I've said, except that I put 0.1. That's all. So it took, it should be smaller. Why is mine bigger? It looks longer, mine. No, it's about the same, I guess. Yeah? Okay, fine. Okay. Now, instead of putting the value, you can also give a symbol. Okay. Well, symbols, it's you got to put the symbol somewhere. So let's just insert some symbols. There's some symbols. Okay, there you see symbols on the extreme right. Okay. And you can go to No, not special characters, symbols. Sorry. Oh, let's see. Wait, let me find out where she got us. Okay. Let's assume that we just use these symbols. Okay, I'm going to put this one here. Okay, and fine. Close. And in the other column, or this column, okay, I'm going to put another symbol. Okay, which is what are those symbols? Thanks. Okay, this one. All right, so I put these two symbols here. Okay. Now what I'm going to say is the same function, but instead of putting the figures down, I want to say either an up arrow or a down arrow. Okay. So I will copy the same formula because that's much easier. Okay. To work with an existing formula. Okay, so if it's either of these two functions, but then the same formula will not work because earlier if it was either of those two, then you just put down the value, whether it's plus or minus. Now we want to put a particular symbol if it's plus and another symbol if it's minus. So the same formula will not work, but anyway, let me copy it, okay? And then we'll amend it accordingly. Okay. All right, so now we don't need the OR because we're not doing, okay, we take out the OR. I could be wrong, but we'll know soon enough. As I said, I mean, the process of becoming a genius. So, okay, if it's above 10%, then we want that particular symbol. Remember this one, okay, A20. But if it's not above that, then we don't need the, because for OR we had to put in the two conditions. For this one, we don't need the OR conditions. Or maybe we do. Let me just see. I'm going to say if what's that? How did that bracket come there? Okay, if B23 minus C is greater than, we already finished, is less than 0.1. Okay, then we want to say this arrow, right? If not, we want to say this arrow. Have we closed all the brackets? Seems so. Let's try. No. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. See. Yeah, I have to put. You have to be careful about the number of brackets you put. Okay. And if you'll have any doubt about this, let me just call me. I seem to be having.
I think on the left, after the first if, one more bracket has to come.
No.
After 820?
No, I don't need one after this. Only one after this. All right.
Ah, yes.
Okay. Now, but then this is 9 point something, so it shouldn't have come, but let's see. Oh, lovely. Okay, we're getting all sorts of funny things here.
Yeah, what's the
Um,
apps and all?
Oh, sorry, I should put the dollar sign, which is basically, that means take that particular value or this particular value, okay? So that you don't, otherwise it goes down with each cell, you know what I mean? I'll explain that to you a little later, hang on.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now, okay, we missed out something because it's only about 10 or only these four should have been highlighted. So let's see where I went wrong. Now, this is a matter of logic. It's nothing to do with the if or the or, okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm saying if this one is above 10%, then put this sign. That's fine. So far, so good. But if it's not, then it can be either below and positive or below and negative, right? If it's about 10, then it's already covered here. It's about 10%. So then I'm saying if it's less than minus 10%, then you put this arrow. Otherwise, it should be this. It should be good. Let me see what's wrong.
Allegra. Allegra. That's
Hang on. That's it. Another quotation here, but I think I'm going off now. Too many arguments. Okay. Should I look at her thing?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, this is only 9%, so this should not have come down arrow. Why is it coming down arrow? Ah, no, -1. Sorry, again, I didn't put minus here, okay? So that's why. Okay? Because I put the same condition, either above 1%, above 10% or below 10%. That's what happened effectively. Okay, I had to put -1 to make it below minus 10%. Okay, there you go. Okay, now you see only these. Okay, fine. Yay for me. Right, questions.
A lot of it went over my head. I need to practice.
Okay, now as I said,
Can you show the formula again?
her sheet has got the details, and I'll send you the
Oh,
link which she
did you-
explains very well. Okay,
Vanchan, where's your sheet?
my sheet is the if sheet,
Yeah. Anju wants to see
and
the
her sheet
formula.
is the if final. Okay,
Okay.
and her sheet is basically she's put percentage instead of 0.1 and stuff like that. Okay, that works too. So, and then if you go to this site, this YouTube thing, she explains this much better than I did. Okay, right. But because you've been through it with me, it will help you to understand it even more clear when she explains it. Plus, I'll send you a text sheet now in a PDF format where she actually types down everything that she explains in the video.
That is good. Yeah.
So if function with the and or is pretty much covered here. I also said we would cover the protection of files. Okay. Now, basically, when you go to save a file, you can file save as. Okay. No, save itself. No, save doesn't work. File save as. Okay. Says more options here. You got to click more options, and then you have tools here. I believe it's general options. Hang on.
Yes.
Yeah. When you click on general options, it's give you the option to put in a password for the file. Okay, let me start that again. Okay. You have your file. Okay, this is the file. The sheet also is part of a file. Okay. And you want to save it so that no one can open it unless you give them the password. You say file, save as. Okay, go to more options. Your screen might be slightly different if it's not 2016. You go to more options, and then there's tools here. You go to tools and say general options, and it gives you a password. So you put in a password, there's a one kind of password to open and they can only look at it. They cannot change anything. There's another password to open it and change it. It can be the same password or it can be two different passwords. But one thing you have to remember is there's no way you can recover the password if you forget it. Okay, unless you're really good at cracking passwords. Okay. But then I've had to delete files like this because I could never figure out the password.
Oh,
So if you're going to do protection like this, I suggest you write it down somewhere, not easily accessible. It's not as critical as, sign-in passwords or anything, but it's still critical. The whole idea of you wanting to lock a file is because you don't want people to see it. So, but you'll have to note it down somewhere reasonably secure what these passwords are. Okay, so this is to protect the file itself. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now within the worksheet, go back. Now in the worksheet, now we put some fancy formula here, right? Okay. Now I don't mind them changing the values of the revenue, but I don't want them to fiddle with the formula. Okay. So what I can do is, now if you let me just show you something. If you go to, I think it's review, I'm not sure what is this. If you go to any cell, okay, and right click on it, in the format cells, okay, you'll have a tab at the very end called protection. We've done format before, right? For various things, alignment, font, border, okay, filling the color, whatever. You go to protection, it says, see, it says it's locked, okay? This cell is locked. In fact, the default mode for every single cell is locked, okay? Every cell. Let me just select the whole sheet. Effectively, by clicking here on the top left-hand corner, I select the whole sheet, these millions of rows and columns, okay? And if I select and go to format and see protection, see, it still says it's locked, okay? If only some of them were locked, it will be sort of grayed out, okay? Now, this is a nice clear tick which says all these cells are locked, okay? Then how come I was able to enter stuff in it? You might ask, okay? Now, what is this? No idea. The only way that you can activate the lock is by protecting the sheet. Now, this protection comes under review, okay? It's not under home, it's under review. If I say protect sheet, okay? Now it has multiple options. You can protect it without a password, which basically is a protection against inadvertent changing of values. If someone deliberately wants to change, that's fine. Okay, so you can say no password. Okay, and you have multiple options for protection. What all do you want to protect? You want to select all the locked cells. Remember, we saw the tick mark means it's a locked cell. Okay, they can select unlocked cells, or if I tick here, that means they can format cells. If I don't tick, that means it's all locked. All these are locked. Okay. If I tick here, it allows the user, even though the cell will be locked, to select a locked cell and select unlocked cells. Okay. So let's just say, okay, I'm going to protect this now. Okay. The whole sheet has been protected now because every single cell in it is locked. You remember? You go, well, I can't even go and check what it is because it's locked. I can't enter anything here. I can't enter anything. I can go there, mind you, I can go to any cell, okay? But I cannot enter anything in any cell because it is locked. Okay? I go to unprotect, okay? Now I can change anything anywhere I want, no problem. I can change it here and I can go and change it here also, okay? Sorry, here, okay. Let me undo it. Undo, okay, right? So I can change anything anywhere. So what I want to do, I'm just going to delete this now. I don't want anyone to change these formulae. Okay, so what I do is I don't want to change the app name also. So I will select the revenue column and I'll go to format and say I'll untick the lock. So now this is no longer locked. Okay, right? And then I go and protect the sheet. Okay, I leave it without a password. Okay. Now I can't change any of these. Okay. But I can change this, okay? I can change this to 20,000. Okay, and if you notice, the formula still works because now 20,000 or equal to or about 20,000 is exceptional, remember? The formula is still the same old formula, okay? If it is only 2,000, okay, it flags anything below 15,000, remember? It puts the amount down, okay? So all these cells are working, but you cannot fiddle with them. The user cannot fiddle with them. I cannot change anything here, okay? But because it's not password protected, anyone can go and just say unprotect sheet, okay? And I can change the formula now. Okay, now I can put, oh, okay, there you go, it accepts it, okay? Because it's no longer protected, even though this is a protected cell. Are you following me? It's a protected cell, but it starts activating itself only if the sheet is protected. So let me just undo it so that, okay, so this is not, these cells are not protected anymore. If we go and check it, okay, see, it's not locked, okay? And if you go and check the whole sheet, I think it will show it slightly different. Let me see. Yeah, it shows it in not a tick anymore. It says some of them are locked, some of them are not locked. That's what this means, okay? All right, everyone following that?
Yeah.
No, yes?
Yes, yes.
Yes, brother.
So basically then what you should do if you're preparing a sheet for someone else, or even if you're preparing a sheet for yourself, and you have a lot of data in it, it's better to lock your formula cells, okay? And protect the sheet. If you're sending it to someone, it's better to protect it with a password so that they cannot fiddle with your formula, okay? Now there's another way that you, right now, if someone goes here, okay, now let's say I'm protecting the sheet, okay? You can still see the formula, right? There is a way you can hide the formula. If you don't really want anyone to figure out how fancy your logic is, okay? There is a way, I forget how, but let me see, let me unprotect it first, okay? Maybe it's under protect itself.
No, it's in the same format cell where you
Yeah,
click
format cell.
hidden. See the hidden there?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, there you go, Anita. Yeah. Right, okay. And then if, right now it shows, okay? Actually, let me do that for all of them so that I go to all of them and I go to format cells and I click hidden also. Okay, then I protect the sheet. Okay, then what happens is you don't see the formula then. Okay, you don't see the formula anymore. But the formula is there, it's just that the user is not going to see it. So, which I should have done over the years because lots of people are using my sheets all across Kuwait, that's for sure. Okay. Because I've never locked any of these things and I've never hidden the formula. And my idea is to pass on information. I don't want to keep information to myself. So I don't really mind. But if you're working for a company and they're paying you to do stuff, it's better to even hide your formula so that other people don't figure out your logic. Okay, because someone has paid you for spending time and getting that stuff, and it's not wise that you show your formula so that someone else can learn. Okay, I'm not in that position. I have no problem showing my formula or whatever it is. And okay, so this is the basic protection scheme. And of course, as I said, you can protect it with a password also. And you can protect with multiple levels of allowing the user, okay? You can allow the user to delete columns or delete rows. That depends on how you want the user to work with your sheet, okay? As of now, the only thing they can do is select cells, whether it's locked or unlocked. Okay, suppose you say you cannot select locked cells, okay? And you protect the sheet. What happens is they cannot go here. See, you cannot go here. Okay. You cannot go anywhere. You can only go into these columns which are unlocked. Okay, I cannot go to apps. I cannot go here. I cannot go here. I cannot go anywhere except the columns that are allowed for me. So that's the benefit of protecting the sheet with, you cannot select locked cells. Okay, you can only select unlocked cells, which is where I want you to change values anyway. Okay.
Yes.
But normally the default is these two are allowed, so that otherwise they get confused because people are used to moving left, right, and up and down in an Excel sheet. So they shouldn't get confused and lost. So once they go to the cell, they cannot change it anyway, and the message will come up. But otherwise, if you just untick the select locked cells, then no message comes up. Okay, so they might get even more confused. So you got to make your sheets user friendly. That's important. Okay, and but user friendly doesn't mean allowing them to change formulas. Okay, because then the effectiveness and the validity of the sheet will be destroyed. The data integrity will be destroyed. And the old saying about computer data is garbage in, garbage out. Okay,
Yeah.
right. That's enough for today. So I'll close now, and you already have the sheet. So all you have to do is go and click anywhere on the tabs and say unhide, and you'll get this sheet. This one was just what we did for the date. So I'll delete that now. We don't need that anymore. Okay. Right. So this is already there. You just have to click it, and all her formulae are here. And as I said, watch the video because it will give you a better idea. Okay.
Yeah.
The video link, as I mentioned, is here, right at the bottom here. You'll get many more free tutorials from her here, but I would say just keep with me for a few more classes, and then you can go to her. She's very good. She's very good. I can tell you that. Okay.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of Excel teaching videos, and I would say she's the best in terms of the speed of teaching, and just somehow it's very relaxed way. Plus, she gives the files that she's working with. You can, if you go to her comments, you'll find out where to find the file that she's actually working with. So you can download it and work with it again. Okay. And as I said, she gives a detail. And let me just show you that. Okay. Let me just share that with you. I'll stop this share. Share something else. Okay. Maybe, not sure. Yeah, okay. Session 6, the PDF. Okay, this is the file. You see, I mean, she's given all this starting from here. Okay, there are 15 pages of it. Every single thing that we looked at, okay, is there. Okay, you see the sheet, we are familiar with
Yeah.
it. Okay, where the numbers seem to be a little different, but never mind. Okay, maybe she's done differently, but yeah, these are the ones that we worked with. Okay, test case 1, test case 2, etc., etc. So I'm going to send you this file now, plus watch the video. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Should be enough for today. Any questions?
Yeah.
I did okay.
Uh,
Finally.
yeah, you did. Manchan, if you stop recording, we can ask Anju whether she knows.
Yeah, I can stop recording now. No problem.
Yeah.
Anju is the one who said she knows how to